On this episode of Disney Through Our Eyes, we're going to be talking about the Galactic Starcruiser that you can now stay in.
And spend a lot of money for.
Which we probably won't be spending. Welcome back to I2I, the place where we talk about anything and everything Disney. My name's Kyle.
And my name is Jessica.
And for this episode of Disney Through Our Eyes, we like to just talk about things that's on our mind in the whole Disney spectrum of things. We're going to be focusing on Disney parks today and a topic that's very prevalent for everybody these days.
Not just Disney parks, but specifically the Galactic Starcruiser.
The Galactic Starcruiser.
Which basically could be a park all in of itself.
Yes.
It's not. But it's basically like you spend more money there than you would for a park.
That is like the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
You know, the price point, again, for people who are just, you know, if you've been hiding under a rock, not been paying attention to price points, $6,000 for a family of four, which is like your typical stereotypical family, mom,
and
dad,
you're
all that
not
kind of stuff.
even there 48 hours.
Yes.
You're literally there 45 hours, and it's $6,000.
Wait, you've done the math on how many hours it actually is?
Well, you arrive at 1 p.m. on day one.
Yeah, we got the
and then you
itinerary in front of
leave
us.
at 10 a.m. on day.
Did you just do that math in your head right there?
Yeah, that was easy.
That's incredible. I cannot process math that quickly. I'm impressed with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The big question I want us to maybe discuss, have our launching point for this topic from, is it worth it? Because, you know, it gets more expensive
it might.
as you do, like for us, two people.
Yes.
Because they're trying to fill up as much space in one trip or cruise as they can. So if you take up more space with less people, they're going to charge you more. So we would have to find like a couple. Any takers out there?
No, because I'm not paying this amount of money.
I know.
So did you see, okay, let's just start at the beginning.
Okay.
There are lots of videos, there are lots of walkthroughs, whatever out there.
Yes.
Where you can see the like pod that you're staying in,
Yes.
for lack of a better term.
I mean, I think that's probably what it's called.
Okay,
a pod, yeah.
a pod. So if you have 4 people though, it's a bunk bed.
2 bunk beds.
And a bed on the ground.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I'm paying $6,000 and I have to share a room with 3 other people and 2 of them are sleeping in a bunk bed?
It's intended for parents and their kids, that type of ideal situation. That's only some of the rooms though. So they've got like a suite it's got like a bedroom type of thing. And then they've got like the grand whatever where it's...
You gotta pay more for the grand whatever?
Yes. Oh, trust me. You didn't pay enough just to get in this place. There's still upcharges and things like that you can take part in. Like the itinerary that you see that we're looking at here in front of us, it's, you know, the all-inclusive part of it. But there's still things on top of those things that are worth it. So, I mean, I'm glad that you brought up, like, the living accommodations. Are they worth it?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the beds are comfy. The bathrooms look nice. I mean, just looks like a bathroom.
Right.
It doesn't look, it looks Star Wars-y. Like, don't get me wrong.
Does it look Star Wars enough?
It reminds me of, okay, so I'm not super big into Star Wars. I know smidge about it. It looks like in one of the movies where they go to Boba Fett's pod thing. Wherever Boba Fett was. Remember? And Jango Fett. Okay. Wherever they were living.
Camino, I see where you
that
are now.
Word.
I got it. I finally got there.
You remember their living quarters?
Yes.
That's what that bathroom reminds me of.
Yes.
Somebody's going to understand what I mean.
No. I think that's probably your best, like, direct Star Wars analogy for, like, where you are. Except that was even, like, more white and pristine than this is. This is supposed to... It has more tans.
This is more grays and... Yeah.
It's a very... To me, it's a very resistance or rebellion focused color scheme because they had a lot of oranges and tans in their color scheme.
Yeah, that's what
whereas
it's supposed to be.
A lot of black and red for the Sith and for the Empire and stuff like that. So that's obviously, you know, this is an era of the resistance and where the Sith and the Empire has been beaten, but there's obviously the First Order and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I like the theming of the rooms, personally.
Okay.
I think the theming went above and beyond.
Okay.
Because it's not, hey, everybody, this is Star Wars. But it is, hey, everybody, you're in space.
It also isn't, hey, everybody, this is Star Wars and you're a 4-year-old with a Target bedspread. Mm-hmm. You know, like, that was my fear, too, is that it was going to be, like...
That's a good way of thinking about it.
Darth Vader You know, all these things that weren't relevant to the time period that they're trying to create.
Well, it's an immersive experience. So you don't want to be like, oh, hey, we went to Target and got the the Darth Vader sheets and stuff, as you said. I mean,
and the little stick-on stars that light up in the nighttime.
Could you imagine if you paid all this money,
Kyle,
you walked into a pod and you're like, where's the Star Wars theming? Turn the lights off, and it's like that. I mean, I cannot imagine Jessica Loomis.
The amount of riots that there would be, I'd be like,
where's this airlock? I'm getting this all out of here.
I'm out. Give me my money back.
So I'm happy so far with what I've seen from the whole living accommodations.
I agree. I also am happy with the pictures and everything we've seen about the food.
Yeah.
It looks very Star Wars-y. That's not a phrase, but I just made it a phrase.
That's fine.
It is interesting, to say the least. Blue shrimp.
Wait, it sounded like you were happy with it. Now it sounds more like you're talking about it. That you're
no. I am happy about it. Like, I think it looks very Star Wars-ish. Warsy. I would not eat it, but
I would eat the blue shrimp.
I drank blue milk. I did that.
You didn't like that?
I like blue milk.
Okay, I was about to say.
I don't like green milk. That's trash. That's complete garbage.
I don't know any barbarian that likes,
The green milk is just trash. But anyway.
It's not trash. It's just too florally.
No, it's trash. Literally trash. Anyway, so, blue milk is good. I don't know how I could feel about blue shrimp. But everything looked like exactly what you would see in a Star Wars world.
Right. So I think the challenge they have here is they don't want to just put a name on something. They want to actually take the time to make it look kind of unique and stuff like that. Before we did this, I went on to Lou Mangello's page and looked at the nice dining option that the captain's table, I think it's called. And I mean, it basically, to me.
So pause. Wait.
Yes.
There's a regular people dining experience, and then there's a captain's table.
And then there's the fancy people. So you can.
That's an upcharge too.
Yes, that is an upcharge for you to be able to do that, is my understanding.
Who do you sit with at the captain's table?
I'm sure you sit with the captain, who's a Patoran, as we learned in our trivia nights on Thursday nights at 7:15 p.m. Mystery Time. If you haven't joined us,
I was hoping it'd be Admiral Akbar.
What?
I know it's not the same. I know.
Hey, spoiler,
it's a different thing.
Spoiler alert for everybody. You remember he died in episode 7, right?
I know. Am I still bitter about it? Yep.
So, and also, we're still dealing with Kylo Ren.
I know. He's not even in the same world. But anywho, he's my favorite. He's the only character I know because I know his line. And
yeah, that's true. That is true. So, yes, the food looks, and especially from that big dining experience thing, the expensive one.
Interesting.
It's like they took the Grand Floridian Victoria and Albert's.
Yeah.
Toned it down a notch.
But then
and
added colors.
Colors and
flowers.
Interesting ways to present the food and stuff like that. So, for me, if I'm going to do some food like that, I'm going to go to Victoria and Albert's before I do the Star Wars one, because it's going to be even more exotic than it already is for me, having a very limited palate, personally.
That is fair. I think that's a good point, because neither you nor I are really...
You're much more than me.
I'm way more adventurous than you, but... I'm not adventurous enough for blue shrimp.
Now, let's be honest. I get a little bit of adventurous in Disney. A little bit. I tried the coconut Thai meatballs, and that's true. That is so not me.
That's true.
That is so not me.
And you ate most of it.
Most of it. It was a little too much coconut. But anyway, this is about the Star Wars stuff. So we talked about food, accommodations. So the in-ride or the cruise entertainment.
Yeah.
So obviously, it seems like there's a singing portion of it where they have.
No.
Well, okay, so there's a Twi'lek in there who's the main singer, the ones with the head tails. Remember them? So they're known.
Ahsoka?
Yes. No, that is a different one, but yes. So they're known for being the performers. Sometimes a little bit of extra performers, but they're known for being the singers and stuff like that in the Star Wars galaxy. So that kind of carries over. Obviously, you meet Rey, Kylo Ren, Chewbacca. And they kind of meet each other. And have you seen that little portion of it?
No. I did not know that they were there.
So, you remember when they announced the Starcruiser? They did this commercial with Rey, and she actually,
yes!
The lightsaber came up
like
it's supposed to.
Yes.
So, again, I hope this is not a spoiler for anybody, because you've probably seen it by now, so if you don't want to listen to it, tune out. But they have a sequence with her fighting someone, and they show that, but they conveniently have to have her put it away for some reason, so that she doesn't hit with it, because it's not that point yet. So they get one that's meant for hitting her. I think it's I've seen a video where she lips and puts it down on the ground and picks up the other one as she's doing it.
see.
So sometimes it's looked really good, sometimes it hasn't. So there's that stuff like astromech droid racing, or you can build your own droid. They've got other characters around. So I mean, like.
And then they do like the first full day after you spend the night.
Right.
They go and do the rides in Hollywood Studios.
Yes. So you go take missions and you go do Rise of the Resistance,
Smuggler's Run.
Just spend time in there. But
I don't know how I feel about that, just personally,
why is
because
that?
I can spend $150 and go do those rides
But,
just at Hollywood
so,
Studios.
Personally, I think they need to do that because that's kind of what you expect to do.
It is what you expect.
Right.
It also is just kind of like a cheap thrill to me. Like, I'm paying $6,000. You can't come up with something better to do than just the ride.
So this is also the beginning of it, though. Like,
That's fair. That is fair.
Add things to Galaxy's Edge. They may add things that only you can do.
That's okay. Now that's where I wouldn't have an issue.
Right.
I think because at current state, what it appears is that when they do Rise of the Resistance, it's the same Rise of the Resistance that we're doing.
We don't know that, though. So
Correct.
I wonder if they're adding extra
That's
things
correct.
in there to fit the story that you're a part of. We don't know that.
I hope so. For their sake, if you're paying more money, you should get a better experience. Let's be honest.
Because that's the challenge here, right? Because you're trying to create a story that you're living. But the story doesn't necessarily line up with everything that's going on in the parks and necessarily timeline-wise. And you kind of have to suspend your belief for just a minute. I mean, you're suspending belief because you're going into a Star Wars cruiser thing.
Now, when you go there, I know that you get this extra phone thing.
Mm-hmm.
So are you allowed to keep your personal phone?
I think you still have access to everything except for like leaving the Star Cruiser. Like I think there's a phone to the outside world and stuff like that. And there's probably story elements to tell that for you to kind of say, well, you still have access to your home planet or something.
Okay.
We have galactic star lines or telephone lines that go across the galaxy.
It would just be kind of weird if you're like on one of these missions and somebody's like, "Oh, hey, Bob, yeah, I'll pick up your garbage next week."
I would bet this fancy thing that you get gives you instructions of like what to and not to bring and like, you know, be prepared. Or you can probably opt out of things if you don't want to take part in them and stuff like that.
That's fair.
They're trying to create an inclusive experience. So like, I mean, we started this with the question of, is it too expensive? I mean, the obvious answer for people like us is yes.
But we're also middle class.
Right. But
we're not the target audience at this time.
But there's people I would consider middle class that are doing it, and I know that for a fact. And so it's kind of a question of what's the price point for you that you would be willing to do it? Is it 1,000 less? Because 6,000, let's just say we have a group of 4. I know it's just us right now. Let's just say we either had 2 kids or we had another couple that wanted to go, or parents that wanted to go with us. Whatever. Group of 4. $6,000 per person.
You mean total, not per person.
I'm sorry, not per person. It may get to that point at some point.
Per person, it's $1,500.
So what would be your price point for the group of 4 that everything that we've talked about, the accommodations, the food, the experiences, the
clothing, because you do wear
I think
clothing,
that's add-on too, right? I think that's add-on too. I'm not completely sure. And I honestly, if I'm doing this, I'm getting the clothes and wearing them. I'm just telling you right now. But that'll come out of my money that I got. What's your price point?
Honestly, I wouldn't pay more than $1,000 per person.
Per person. So 4,000 is your mark.
And honestly, I still wouldn't do it for that price.
I think 4,000.
But that's $500 a night.
Yeah.
That is a very nice hotel room. If you paid $500 a night for a hotel room.
Well, think about it this way. So Polynesian.
Yep.
Grand Floridian.
Yep.
Sometimes Wilderness Lodge.
Yep.
Beach Club. Yacht Club. If you don't hit them at the right times.
Yeah.
Those are right now those price points.
And that's why I thought $1,000 because of what you're getting. It's the experience. It's not necessarily the room accommodations. Right. It's all of the itinerary, the whole thing. I could understand people paying $1,000 total.
So we know for you to even consider it, it'd have to be 4,000 for the group or 1,000 per person.
Yeah.
So when you keep that in mind with all the other Disney resorts, their price points right now, and what you're getting with this one, even in a short amount of time, you understand how they got to that number.
I do. I totally do.
But for me, I am much more willing to pay that what it is now than I would be probably for like a Grand Floridian. Polynesian, I haven't been able to stay there yet. If I get there, that's the
ultimate dream.
That's the ultimate dream. If I could stay in a bungalow with a Dole Whip in my little pool overlooking the Magic Kingdom fireworks, I'm done. Just leave me there. I'm over with.
Yeah.
6,000 is still a little bit steep for me. I would like to see them flesh things out more before I pay that.
Yeah.
Or to add something else.
Yeah.
I need something to sweeten the deal. And then you can get me to that 6,000 price point. I'd probably be willing to pay $5,000.
Okay.
Where I'm at right now, I know that's kind of petty, just splitting the difference, but that's
fair.
probably where I'm at right now. Well, we want to know from you guys in the comments section. What do you think about the price point? Where is it at for you? Just imagine that money, I don't want to say money's not an object because then that answers the question for you, but like just try to kind of put it into perspective. Where does the price point for you, if you were in a group of 4, need to be to purchase this and take part in it? Because it's not a question of we want to. We would love to.
Yeah.
We just don't know that we can afford it.
It won't be right now.
It will not be right now. Too many things going on that we got to pay for just life in general. But we want to know from you in the comments section what you think about that. So let's keep the conversation going there. On their way out, what should they do?
If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content.
And thank you for tuning into this edition of Disney Through Our Eyes. Until we assemble again,
May the Force be with you.
and we'll see you real soon.
Bye, guys.